Blessings, beautiful souls. How are you? Welcome back to my channel. I'm a little frazzled. I'm sitting out here off-grid, Tassie in the Huon Valley, drinking wine out of a stone, what is it called? Stoneware coffee or teacup. And the reality of my situation today is that I started drinking this wine straight from the bottle because I was frazzled. And when I'm frazzled, I have a tendency to be a little, what's the word? Impatient. So it's Friday afternoon here. Hi, Keith. It's Friday afternoon here in the beautiful Huon Valley, and excuse me, the sun is out, the birds are singing, the wind is beginning to increase, just to sort of whip up a little bit. We have blue fairy wrens and red robins here. We have ravens and crows and a couple of other indistinguishable birds to me at this moment in time, but again, I'm quite new to the region. And it's not often that the sun stays out for this long of an afternoon, well, at least not since I have been here. Thank you. Happy equinox. Hello, Jezebel. And today it's been a very interesting and quite productive, I might say, day. Now, for those who didn't know, I did an interview with my lovely neighbour Gordon White of Rune Soup, and Gordon has invited me to MC an event, an occult event that he is hosting in Melbourne on the 24th of November. I will be talking more in depth about this, and I took my time to consider it and everything, and I decided, yeah, why not? Sounds like fun. I actually haven't had an opportunity to hang out in Melbourne yet, and to hang out in Melbourne talking astrology and the history of spirits, talismanic magic and witchcraft to a group of 100 people who have paid a ticket at the Baker House place, wherever that is, and get free booze as a part of that ticket. Yes, that's something that I would very much like to do. So I've said yes to that, and thanks, Mel. And yes, I'm gonna go do a little bit of that. And but I filmed a podcast with him. That's how we ended up getting in contact. Benabel, when shared a tweet about me having moved off grid. It was just, you know, and then Gordon went, what? Southern Tasmania? And I didn't know that Gordon lived in Southern Tasmania. And then, as it turned out, we are about 1.5 km away from each other. We are actually country neighbours, like legit. So we hang out now and talk about things, fun things, which is so fun. But we did this podcast, and it was me going over to his place, meeting him for the very first time, and taking 2 bottles of wine, because that's how you make best friends, right? And walking around his beautiful little property, his little permaculture farm to be, or is, it's in the making, and it's lovely. And we filmed that entire podcast outside, and it's so funny, it's so conversational, like it's just like mates chatting, and that's what I really loved about it. So pretty excited about that. But today, as I revel in the splendors of off-grid living, I had the I don't even know what to call it. I was going to say the honor, because it is quite the opposite.
I'm just going to go get a leash.
Okay.
I can do your video.
Oh, thanks, mate. This is my son, Caspian. Some of you may recognize Caspian from a few little interruptions with Bone Stone. You may get it. You can get it.
I just want you to do the thing.
What thing?
This is scary, but I want you to do the thing. To concentrate your thing.
Huh?
Concentrate your video.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to do it. I'll pick it up.
So today I had the pleasure of, or the non-pleasure I should say, of emptying our compost toilet. And when my husband got home, because he wasn't here, and the last time he was the one that emptied it on his own, the time before that, twice before that, we did it together. And buttons and rubbish, pumpkin pasties. Oh my god, it's so Harry Potter. Yeah, so my beautiful, hello Claudia. So my beautiful husband emptied it the last time and I came back and he looked, you know, worse for wear. And I didn't quite understand why. And then he's like, I emptied out the compost toilet. And I went, I see. I respect that. I'll cook dinner and probably make you pancakes for the morning. Hey Natalie, how you going? And so today I emptied out the compost toilet and I understand now why he was so frazzled. It took me about 2 hours to do, like to clean it properly because I'm a germaphobe. I had like methylated spirit spray and I had like a hose that didn't have very good pressure and I had to dig a hole with a shovel. And then I came back and I was like, it's so time for wine. In fact, I started chugging the bottle and I thought, just let's not be savage about it. And so I asked my son to get me a glass. And he's like, what kind of a glass? And I'm like, an empty, clean cup to drink out of. And he bought me this one. And I'm like, that's totally fine. It's a step up from the bottle, which I was just recently swigging. Elegance restored. My my battery's gonna go flat, so I can't stay here and chat for too long, but it's been a minute. And I have to still put my compost toilet together. That's the mess that I'm looking at. That's some of the... This is my view, by the way. This is where I'm sitting. The sun was setting over there, and I'm sitting here. That's my view. Behind me you can see the shipping container. That's because this is my semi-veranda, and that shipping container is actually my father's dwelling. So it's a converted shipping container tiny home. Inside it's fully lined. It looks legit beautiful and, well, man, beautiful. You know what I mean. But it's cozy, it's warm, he loves it. He's gaming right now. He's off-grid gaming. Love it. And he's 71 and he's off-grid gaming, so yeah, that's the thing. And it's just so beautiful here at the moment, and I just had to sit down and have wine, and not wine, you know, not whine about the fact that I had to clean the compost toilet, because it is what it is, you know, this is the thing. Oh, a little fairy wren came past me then. We're looking at naming our property here. 4 AM, guys, go to bed. The mother in me is shocked. You will pay for this in the morning. You need your sleep. I'm so sleep deprived right now. I've been up late. That's where I was going with my rune soup story, actually. I see live long dim stars. That's it. Where I was going with my rune soup story, it wasn't just a name drop story. It was that since I did that podcast, I think a few people heard it, and I have had lots of emails today, and deck sales. So wine does save everything, and I'm like, at least it's clean, at least I know where it goes, at least it's natural, you know. I'm not down about it. I'm just like so yeah, I've been a bit busy, and then I found myself tagged on a tarot Facebook group. Somebody shared a picture of the bone stone, and it became this big, like, I'd never seen this deck before, and I'm like, that's because I don't advertise. And that's still true to this day. I've never advertised the Bone Stone. I share it on my own social media. Others share it on their social media. I make no requests. And I do not promote. I do not do paid promotions. Because I like the idea that those who will gel with the deck will find the deck. And now I'm under 70. I've got 60 something left. And did I tell you that my friend, my beautiful lovely friend Benabel, she has forwarded my tarot guidebook, my Bone Stone guidebook, and she also helped correct some astrological information within the Bone Stone guidebook. So I know that the astrology now is legit, because that was really hard. It was really hard. There is such conflicting and contradictory information regarding astrology. And I had the books out. I had lots of books out. I was having lots of conversations with people, and then eventually I'm just like, I managed to write it all, but I needed somebody to double check it, and she kindly did. So I'm stoked about that. She's a gem. Love her to bits and pieces. So Bone Stone's moving along quite nicely, thank God. And it's coming into birthday season. I found you when I was looking up tarot artists. I'm working on my own, but it's years away. Aww, that's so awesome. I really liked writing the Bone Stone guidebook. Like, I really liked to write it. The day you made it available, I'm enjoying the rest. Ah, thanks, Mel. Ah, it's been a minute. Hey, it's been such a long time. Yeah, I'm so happy that I decided to create a deck, and I'm so happy that I was able to write the guidebook for it, and I'm so happy that I didn't compromise on areas that were very important to me, like having a little white book rather than a guidebook to make things cheaper. I really wanted a substantial guidebook, and when I say substantial, I'm talking in relative terms, like, you know, nothing so heavy that it then makes the whole thing just a little ridiculous. But it is a guidebook in the end. It's not a tarot how to read, how to read tarot, more to the point. But I just love that it's been done, and you know, a few more goes through the editor and it should be ready for layouts, and I'm just excited, and that makes me feel pretty happy. And I've decided to boot the Green Witch book for book club, and I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with it. For me personally, I still think it's a very good beginner's book. And when I say beginner, I mean absolute beginner to the craft would get something out of that book. Yes, I would. I don't understand why it's been so photographed, so shared around. I have some things to say about that, but the book itself, I read it, I got through it, we critiqued it together in a group setting over many weeks, and not my cup of tea. In fact, many people were disappointed with it, which is sad because that was our first book, but I understand the whys and the hows of it. And just popping in quickly. Ah, hi Elaine, how you going? Yes, so we I put it out there to those who were a little bit wanted to read the book, but after hearing you, I'm considering might spend my money on a book more informative. Green Witch is a book for teenagers rebelling against the Christian. You may be right, Jezebel. You may be right. But I did say for those who actually forked out for the book, because I got mine in the Witch's Moon, and you know, that's lovely. It's lovely that they included a book in there. So yes, you with your hand up.
Can I have a jelly bean, please?
You might have to ask your dad that, because I'm no longer entitled to my opinions. I'm on my second glass of wine. What was I saying? Oh yes, what was I saying? Oh yes, that for those who actually forked out for the book itself, it's such a terrible shame when you buy a book and you don't love it, and in some instance people weren't even able to finish reading it. They were just so like, nah, not for me. And that's okay. It's no reflection on the art and the artist and the creator or the author herself. It's more that for the caliber of people in that book club, it wasn't a good fit. So for beginners, absolutely. For the absolute beginner, yes. But we are venturing now into Devonshire witchcraft, folklore and magic, Silent as the Trees by Gemma Gary. And so we are going to begin our study and analysis on that particular book, and I am extremely excited for that because I absolutely adore Gemma Gary's written work, and I just love to learn about that particular side of the world and that traditional witchcraft aspect. So I'm very, very, very into it, and I cannot wait. We haven't quite started that book yet. We are introducing the book now. It'll probably be about 2 weeks before we really hook in. Some have jumped the gun a little and gone straight into the first chapter. I respect that. I would have as well. But I have enough to read at the moment, and I have some homework on astrology and history of spirits to do for my MC gig thing. And I don't do speaking, what do you call it? Events. I don't do those sorts of things, but they asked me so nicely. They asked me so nicely I couldn't say no. So if you're in Melbourne, you should come. And if you know friends in Melbourne who are occultists and witches and druids and pagans, the good kinds, then tell them to come as well. But share it around, pimp the event, because Austin, and I just forgot his last name, Austin, he's an astrology writer and an astrologer. He is flying all the way in from Los Angeles, and one author to another, and one crazy Brazilian Australian witch in the middle to MC, and just like crowd control, I guess. Who knows? But it's my first time really in Melbourne. I've passed through, I've stopped by, close. It's my first time in Melbourne, and I would love to organise a bit of a hello with people, because Melbourne has a lot of pagans, a lot of witches live in Melbourne, and I think that that's amazing. And I have a lot of witchy friends in Melbourne, and so I hope that I can catch up with some of them, because Australia's very, big in a way, and I've lived up north for the last 6 years, and I don't get down south all that often. Now that I'm in Tasmania, I get to go to Melbourne within about 3 months of moving down here, so already life is better. So let me know, and that's about it from me. Having a wine, wishing you guys a wonderful solstice, and hopefully wherever you are and whatever you are doing, you are surrounded by some kind of amazing magic. And I will be with you again soon. I've got some videos that I'm going to be putting up on my channel. I've decided that 1 out of every 10 video that I make for Patreon, I will be sharing that one, and that will create regularity in content here, so I'm not swapping Patreon, YouTube for Patreon. Oh.
Hi, I got good, Daddy. I got good because I got a jelly.
Honey, your elbow is almost in my wine. Thank you. Yeah. You got a jelly?
Jelly.
Okay. She got a jelly. That's a vitamin, darling. You got to eat it. You can't play with it like that.
No. Daddy wants this one.
All right, my children.
Daddy, do you want a jelly?
My children are gonna lose it. Stop! A perimeter of safety. A perimeter of safety. All right, I've got to go, folks. My battery's now down to. Look at this. I gotta go. See ya.